chance to be the best, and that is facts. It's a war between the Alpha and Omega. More intense than Street Fighter on the Sega. Your team is weak, it's time to make a couple trades. Get a player off the waiver just to plug them in and play. Do whatever that it takes so you can win it. Make it to the ship so you can say that you were in it. If you don't win it, then it means you're number 2, and number 2 ain't number 1, so number 2 ain't good enough. Just means you couldn't get it done. You had a run but couldn't finish. So when next year comes, I hope you're doing something different. Plan to make it to the top, you need to build right. Make a trade to win the game as if it feels right. 25 is here, the new year starts, draft night. Hope that you're ready for the fight like Friday night lights. Keep the enemy in sight, try to beat them like you might. Yeah, fantasy is back and PPL is where it's at. PPL is where it's at. The wait is finally over, PPL is finally back. Everybody ready, trying to be the next champ. Yeah, you know the show is starting when you hear the new rap. Welcome back to the twins, to the gaff and the gods, to the boss. Trade 50 in the squad, to the plays, maybe gas, Argonauts and the skulls. We've been waiting too long, man, it's finally time to ball. Yeah, it's time to get it on.
And here we are at week 9. PPL Live. Interconference warfare is over. We are back in conference play, the crucial back half of the season to see who makes the PPL playoffs. But before we get into that, we got to take an eye back to our week 8 matchup. Starting with the Argonauts, leaving no doubt in a big win, 154 to the Twins, 123. The Gaff gets the Monday night comeback in style with CD Lamb, 141 to Kev's TNT's 131. The United Players get the second win in a row, 127 to 118 of only for the boss. Appease the Gods makes it 6 straight. Hottest team in the PPL get it done in a prestige matchup, 146 to squad underestimated's 113. And the Skulls keep it moving, 4 in a row, 128 to I Need About Trey Fitty's 115. Alrighty, PPLers, week 8 ain't all over. We got to do it. We got to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, we are in it. Ulysses S. Hate is on the line. Ulysses giving us that international flair. What you think, man? Good, bad, and ugly for week 8.
Yeah, Gino, good to come from you from the continent of Europe. Love being here. Love PPL Live, man. But hey, I got to start with good. And, I've said it from draft day, and they've had some stumbles, but I'm going to go with the Argonauts, man. Leaving no doubt.
Okay.
Only alpha team to win. We saw it from James Cook. We saw it from Achane, and George Kittle just led the charge. He really didn't have any down spots here. Leaving no doubt, only alpha team. He's only 2 teams out of first place.
Right.
I love what the Argos did this week, and with their scoring potential, again, coming back in division play against a soft division, I think they go long.
Oh, wow. And who's your bad?
Well, it's got to be Patty's Twins. I mean, being the only Omega team to not keep pace. I mean, now you're in the cellar with the UP, and this team has big question marks. I mean, I'll say that I love what Najee's doing,
right,
and again, really coming along, but Mason just really hasn't been that guy. And for all of the fireworks in Detroit, it hasn't been translating to the air game. It's been mainly Gibbs and Montgomery.
Right.
And so St. Brown really hasn't been flexing. But when you got a 20-point coach win and you still lose them by 30 points, it's a bad week. Twins just couldn't get it done.
All right, man. What's ugly?
Man, we know what's ugly. Being the top of the division, losing 3 in a row, prestige matchup of the week, not showing up, going with Aaron Rodgers over a guy you drafted very early on in C.J. Stroud.
Right.
I mean, again, I get it. Aaron had more in the end, but when I looked at this, there was just nothing there. We talked about Saquon being the guy. Okay.
Yeah.
We looked at Kamara. Okay.
Yeah.
And what really made this ugly for me is this a team that really couldn't afford any more injuries. Stephon Diggs is gone for the season.
Right.
So I don't know where squad goes, and I'm going to say it right now. The Argonauts are coming for that ass.
Wow. All right, man. My good is going to actually be the Gaff attack, man. They're keeping pace in that Omega Conference. Great comeback on Kev's TNT. CD Lamb showing why he's the logo of the team with that 13-catch, 146 performance against an opponent that, you don't count on that against. When the Gaff needed it the most. Great signature win by the PPL champ. So that's my good. My bad is actually, I'm with you, man. Squad Underestimated had a bad week. Only won 13. They did lose Stephon Diggs, but there was a silver lining for them, I thought, and this is why they're only bad for me. They get Puka Nacua back. That's a big time addition to their team, and maybe Christian McCaffrey may be back in the lineup. So those are two good things going for Squad Underestimated. But they do go back into Alpha Conference play, and I think they got a really tough matchup with Trey Fitty this week. So it is a bad week for the squad, and they got to stop the bleeding. And my ugly man is another Alpha Conference team that has lost 4 straight. I've kind of picked on them this year, but it's just not look good, and that's only for the boss. They've got to get better. 118, even with a really good week from Mahomes and Kelsey, they couldn't really find the scoring that they needed. And then they also have been bit by that injury bug. So they've got to figure it out, get a little bit better. But I think that they still have a ways to go if they want to compete in Alpha. But like I say, past this prologue, it's time to get going. It's time to get into week 9. And we start with our first matchup of the week 9 slate. We got a big one here in the Alpha Conference. We got Squad Underestimated taking on I Need About Trey Fitty. All right, man. Squad Underestimated, Trey Fitty, big one here. Squad has lost 3 in a row. Trey Fitty has lost their last 2. Trey Fitty still has dreams of an Alpha Conference title, and I mean they're within reach if they can get a win this week over Squad Underestimated. What you think about this one, Squad Trey Fitty?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to go with a division leader that's 3 losses in a row. And when I see what Jaden Daniels is doing, this guy's a gamer.
Right.
He's shown that he got it, and against the Giants, I mean, I think he leaves no doubt in that matchup.
Okay.
I like Breece Hall against Houston. The one thing that I probably would do is I'd probably pull London out of this matchup and go with probably either Waddle or I did not like what I saw out of Drake London. And I mean, hey, Dallas might be just what he needs, but ultimately I think that with Marvin Harrison Jr. back in the lineup, I look at the other side and I'm going to say it, man. I think that Squad is dealing with some inflated projections. Wow. And I think that messes with Squad. I mean, as I was looking at the teams or the players he's been picking the last week, he's been picking based off of projections, not matchups.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's ultimately what's going to catch him up here. And I think Trey Fitty shows, hey, man, along with some other teams, like this is not your division right now. And again, you need to go out there and be authoritative. I think he goes and finds a defense. I think he goes and finds a coach. And I think that he wins this one. I'm going to go Trey Fitty in a squeaker, man. I'm going to go 126 to 124.
All right, man. I'm with you, man. Jaden Daniels, I mean, this guy, nothing's stopping this guy right now. He's playing.
He's out here hurting feelings.
Yeah, he's out here hurting a lot of feelings. And I know some near and dear. But this dude is just on another level right now. I mean, he's just got the magic touch and is showing. And I think that Trey Fitty needs to make sure that he's in the lineup and check that injury alert no matter what with this guy. Because if he's in the lineup, he's dangerous. Kyle Pitts is a guy who's starting to get loose, starting to show that potential. And I like Drake London against Dallas. That's the highest over-under of the weekend. Pretty smart to see them both in the lineup. Wilson is the really breadwinner from the Devontae Adams trade. He's the one getting more of the target share, and Marvin Harrison finally woke up on Squad side. C.J. Stroud just lost another one of his top receivers. He's without his top 2 wideouts. It's going to be a tough matchup. I do like Saquon Barkley and Puka Nacua, and Tyreek Hill is going to get back in the groove with Tua, but I don't know if it's going to be against Buffalo. At the end of the day, I got Trey Fitty getting this one. 132. The Squad Underestimated is 119. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one. Our interconference matchup of the week. 2 teams that have been proud top teams in the PPL over the last couple of years. We got Only for the Boss of Alpha taking on the Gaff. All right, both these teams have got to wait an extra week to get back into conference play, but both of these teams really need this win the way their conferences are shaking out, man. What do you think of this one, Gaff, Boss?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit on it when you you said, only for the boss has not lived up to expectations. With the guys that he has, we just have been accustomed to them winning. And, with the Chiefs being undefeated and this team not being on the winning side, I think we're seeing some of the downside of his strategy. They're winning games, but they're not winning fantasy games.
Right.
On the other side, Gap is showing he can score. These guys, we were talking a few weeks back ago, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs ain't the guy. He's the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
We've seen that. And again, hey, hats off to CD Lamb, man.
Right.
Really won that game for the Gap. He needed to keep pace here. When I look at the other side, I mean, the Chiefs had Tampa Bay on Monday night, which I'm going to say, I think that they lose that game.
Oh, wow.
I think that Baker Mayfield has been showing that he's a gamer.
Yeah.
And I think that they struggle there, especially without their top two targets. They're going to have to get creative, and I think they lose in a close one. I think that is the factor. Minnesota's got a cakewalk. Chicago should bounce back against Arizona.
Right.
I think the Gap has everything in their power to win this, and I think that they get this interconference matchup. I'm going to go 123 to 108.
Okay. I'm with you, man. I think only for the boss probably is looking at their fifth straight loss. And it's going to be because of the bye week. No Deebo Samuel. I think that's going to hurt them. As well as the fact that I don't think that they're really settled at the wide receiver position. Rome Odunze is a dart throw, as well as Wendell Robinson. Both of those guys could do well, but both of those guys could do completely nothing. I mean, where the boss is strong is at the running back position with Kyron Williams. And I think Nick Chubb is going to start to get his sea legs now that Jameis Winston can actually help move the football. But on the Gaff side, too much on their end. Kenneth Walker has high scoring potential. Jalen Hurts ran for, I think, 3 touchdowns last week. And, I mean, he could do more of the same against a very porous Jacksonville pass defense and run defense. I like the Chuba Hubbard play, and I think that Tyler Kraft is becoming one of the top tight ends in the league. At the end of the day, I got the Gaff continuing their race to repeat. I got the Gaff attack winning this one 132 for the bosses 122. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into Omega for a big one between these two teams. The United players are trying to hang on, but the Skulls are trying to make this a year to remember. We got the Skulls and the United players, the Destroyers. All right, man, big one here. Skulls obviously have won 4 in a row. They're looking good. The United players, though, have bounced back, showing some pride here. Derrick Henry has been a beast, man. What you think of this one?
I think that they've been shown some pride, and again, I think that with a little bit better management, UP could be really. I mean, again, hey, they're not far out the hunt, but I mean, Omega is a pretty stacked division.
Right.
When I look at the other side, though, I mean, I love what the Skulls have really put together. I mean, we knew Allen was going to come up. The Cincinnati Bengals started slow, but Jamar Chase, man, good luck keeping up with that cat.
Yeah.
The only play I don't like on his side is Olave.
Okay.
I think I'd be going McConkey. I think I'd go Zay Flowers. But anyway he goes, I've got him leaving no doubt this week.
Oh, wow.
I think that they get it done. I think Baltimore's due for a big bounce back, even against a tough Denver team.
Yeah.
I think Detroit will shit against Green Bay.
Okay.
Jordan Love's been a little bit banged up. And I think that Miami-Buffalo game should be high scoring.
Okay.
I think that the Skulls leave no doubt this week, continue to sit atop Omega, 144 to the UP's 122.
All right, man. I think I'm smelling an upset here. I think I'm going to go the other way. There's been one bugaboo and one albatross in the way of the Skulls completely dominating the Omega Conference, and it's been the United players, the Destroyers. Their record against the United players has been abysmal. They lost to them even earlier this year when it looked like they should roll the United players, and I think that trend continues. Love Kirk Cousins matchup against Dallas. Love Derrick Henry against Denver. DeAndre Swift should run all over Arizona, and I think that DeAndre Hopkins might have a little something in store for us on Monday Night Football. Josh Allen gets a divisional matchup against the Miami Dolphins, a team that's familiar with him and he's familiar with, but those division matchups tend to tighten up for Josh sometimes, and he might not have the high scoring potential that he's typically had. J.K. Dobbins going up against a pretty prideful Cleveland run defense. I think they're going to give him some trouble, as well as that Colts defense. At the end of the day, I think this one actually becomes a high-scoring affair out of nowhere, and United players get it done. I got the United players winning this one 138 to the Skulls 135. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one for the Argonauts. They got to keep it going, but Kev's TNT also has a chance. We got the Argonauts going up against Kev's TNT. All right, man, you sticking with the Argo through thick and thin. It seems like they are leading the league in scoring, but they continue to get the most points scored against them. Kev's TNT rolls into this one with a lot of firepower, man. What you think of this one?
I got a lock of the week performance by the Argos, and with the squad losing, I have them moving within one game of the Alpha Conference title after, losing 4 or 5 straight.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. I mean, they've shown, I don't even need to talk about their lineup. They're the top scoring team in the league, so whoever they start, they'd be good. I mean, the one criticism I would say as I look at this is I'd probably go Gino over Dak.
Okay.
But when I look at the other side, Kev's TNT could have won that game if they would have went Matthew Stafford over Joe Burrow,
right.
which again, long shot.
Right.
But again, not playing a coach. I mean, again, I understand it if it burns you, but again, his unwillingness to do so, I think, cost him last week's game. And again, if he fails to participate in that element of the game, I think he's going to struggle, especially as we come down the stretch. He is absolutely in playoff position if he gets this together, but as it currently stands, I've got the Argos in a performance where they're my lock of the week. I've got the Argonauts, again, getting really close to leaving no doubt, going 141.
Yeah.
Kevin's TNT, I think they stumble this week. I'm going to hit him at 98.
Oh, wow, man. I'm going to agree with you. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a disparity. I like Kev's TNT because I like Joe Burrow's matchup. It's a great matchup against the Raiders. Josh Jacobs has had a great season with Green Bay. He's really fit in that offense. And Joe Mixon, man, let's talk about it. Every week he's played, he's been highly effective. Darnell Mooney is one of the top guys as far as yards, 15 yards down the field or more. And Keon Coleman's finding that stride with Josh Allen. Now, on the Argonaut side, they have found ways to score. Really like their running back performances, and Cooper Kupp getting back into that lineup did help out. Going to be interesting to see how that flex looks with Chase Brown. But I think when you look at it over time, they've been able to find ways to score. Kev's TNT, I think, is going to need a coach if they're going to win this matchup. At the end of the day, I think the Argonauts find a way to get it done. I got the Argonauts winning this one 128 to Kev's TNT 112. And moving to our prestige matchup of the week, we got a big one here in the Omega Conference. One team trying to hang on. I mean, I guess both of these teams are trying to hang on in a sense. They're both tied, one for last, one for first. We got Appease the Gods going up against Patty's Twins. All right, man, Appease the Gods has really been showing out these last couple of weeks behind Lamar Jackson and Bijan Robinson and David Montgomery. They've really shown a high-scoring potential down the stretch. Also got to give props on that Otten ad. But on the Twins side, Amon Ra, Malik Neighbors, they've got some stellar receiver play, and Jonathan Taylor's back. What do you think of this one, man?
Yeah, I mean, I do think both teams have something to go for. You know, Patty's Twins trying to stay in the mix in a very competitive Omega Conference. Appease the Gods really trying to challenge for that first round bye,
right.
really aiming for it. And I'll tell you why I like Appease the Gods in this matchup. They have a really good running game. I mean, Bijan Robinson, Montgomery, and Robinson for the Commanders has shown to be a really good three-headed monster. I'll tell you the X factors. You mentioned it. I mean, he went out there and used his waiver wire pick on Cade Otten.
Okay.
Had a baller day.
Yeah.
The X factor this week is going to be Tank Dell.
Okay.
You know, with Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs out, Tank Dell is the number one in Houston, and CJ is going to be looking to really get it together against a New York Jets team that, you know, they're good, but I think they can absolutely be scored on. What kills the Twins also this week is bye weeks. Not having Brock Purdy, not having Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams certainly has scoring potential. He's not on Lamar Jackson level.
Right.
And I don't like Jonathan Taylor at Minnesota. I think that they get behind and they abandon that run game.
Okay.
And then who do they go with? Eckler backing up Robinson. Do they go with Singletary with the Giants? That's probably where I would go.
Right.
But otherwise, there are just too many question marks for me. The things that I love for this team is really the head coach.
Okay.
I mean, I think Detroit's damn near lock of the week, but I like Buffalo against Miami, and I like Cleveland's D against LA for Appease the Gods. I think that they keep the streak going, keep pace with the Skulls. I've got Appease the Gods winning a close but competitive matchup here. I'm going to say that they get this one 129 to Patty's Twins 126.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to agree with you, man. I got Appease the Gods. They've started to find their rhythm in the scoring game, and let's talk about it, man. Tank Dell is going to be the beneficiary of a lot of big injuries. Him and CJ Stroud already had a great connection and a great chemistry, and I think that's going to have to even get even stronger as they go down the stretch. And I think ATG is going to be a big beneficiary of that. Lamar Jackson's playing at the MVP level. There's not really much more to stay there. And Brian Robinson Jr., let's talk about it, man. He's become one of the more reliable running backs in all of the PPL. Because that position has not been so reliable. Now, on the Twins side, I like the Caleb Williams start. If you know the history between these two teams, that's definitely an inside shot there. Jonathan Taylor getting in the lineup, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are, I think, going to be the ones that are going to need to carry the day along with Malik Neighbors. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Now, I do like Evan Ingram in the fact that Christian Kirk's out for the season, and Trevor Lawrence is going to go to Evan Ingram. I think he's going to get fed there. Xavier Worthy makes an appearance, but he just has not been the impact that any of us have expected. At the end of the day, I think ATG has just enough to get this one. I'm with you, man. I got Appease the Gods getting this one. I think they go for 130 plus another week here. I got ATG 135 to Patty's Twins 125. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get the engagement up, guys. Let's talk about the league, get on the page, do some stuff. Let's have a good week, have fun, good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor.